Today is February 10th. Welcome to Big Book Daily. My name is Rob. I'm an alcoholic. It is a thrill, honor, and joy to be here with you today as we journey through the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous and the 12 Steps and 12 Traditions. Today we're going to be reading Chapter 10, Two Employers, pages 140 through 142. And out of the 12 and 12, we're going to be reading Chapter 6, Step 6, and that will be the first half of page 66 today. So with all that, my friends, let's get to the Big Book. So yesterday in the Big Book, we were talking about how certain people might have prejudice against those who suffer from alcoholism. And are they willing to let those prejudices go? And today we're going to jump right into page 140, the second half of that, the second paragraph down. I well remember the shock I received when a prominent doctor in Chicago told me of cases where pressure of the spinal fluid actually ruptured the brain. No wonder an alcoholic is strangely irrational. Who wouldn't be with such a fevered brain? Normal drinkers are not so affected, nor can they understand the aberrations of the alcoholic. Your man has probably been trying to conceal a number of scrapes, perhaps pretty messy ones. They may be disgusting. You may be at a loss to understand how such a seemingly above-board chap could be so involved. But these scrapes can generally be charged, no matter how bad, to the abnormal action of alcohol on his mind. When drinking, or getting over a bout, an alcoholic, sometimes the model of honesty when normal, will do incredible things. Afterward, his revulsion will be terrible. Nearly always, these antics indicate nothing more than temporary conditions. This is not to say that all alcoholics are honest and upright when not drinking. Of course, that isn't so. And such people often may impose on you. Seeing your attempt to understand and help, some men will try to take advantage of your kindness. If you are sure that your man does not want to stop, he may as well be discharged, the sooner the better. You're not doing him a favor by keeping him on. Firing such an individual may prove a blessing to him. It may be just the jolt he needs. I know, in my particular case, that nothing my company could have done would have stopped for me. So long as I was able to hold my position, I could not possibly realize how serious my situation was. Had they fired me, and had they then taken the steps to see that I was presented with the solution contained in this book, I might have returned to them 6 months later a well man. But there are many men who want to stop. And with them, you can go far. Your understanding treatment of their cases will pay dividends. Perhaps you've had such a man in mind. He wants to quit drinking, and you want to help him, even if it be only a matter of good business. You now know more about alcoholism. You can see that he is mentally and physically sick. You are willing to overlook his past performances. Suppose an approach is made something like this. State that you know about his drinking, and that it must stop. You might say that you appreciate his abilities, would like to keep him, but cannot if he continues to drink. A firm attitude at this point has helped many of us. Next, he can be assured that you do not intend to lecture, moralize, or condemn. That if this was done formally, it was because of misunderstanding. If possible, express a lack of hard feeling toward him. At this point, it might be well to explain alcoholism, the illness. Say that you believe that he is a gravely ill person. With this qualification, perhaps fatally ill, does he want to get well? You ask because many alcoholics, being warped and drugged, do not want to quit. But does he? Will he take every necessary step, submit to anything to get well, to stop drinking forever? All right, my friends, we will stop right there and definitely want to come back to a few things real quick here in just a minute. All right, so in the 12 and 12 yesterday, we were reading about Step 6 and how it is a lifetime job. It says right here on the bottom of 65. Step 6, it says, we're entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of character. Is AA's way of stating the best possible attitude one can take in order to make a beginning on this lifetime job. This does not mean that we expect all of our character defects to be lifted out of us as the drive to drink was. Some of these things are going to take a lot of time. And all we can really strive for is to be content with patient improvement. I like this part here. The keywords entirely ready underline the fact that we want to aim at the very best that we know or can learn. So what I gathered from that is that this is going to take some time. This is not one of those steps that you do perfectly one time, you never have to do it again. This is more of a lifetime kind of step 6. So we're going to continue on page 66 and read the first half today. Even then, the best of us will discover to our dismay that there is always a sticking point, a point at which we say, no, I can't get this up yet. And we shall often tread on even more dangerous ground when we cry, this I'll never give up. Such is the power of our instincts to overreach themselves. No matter how far we have progressed, desires will always be found which oppose the grace of God. Some who feel that they have done well may dispute this. So let's try to think it through a little further. Practically everybody wishes to be rid of his most glaring and destructive handicaps. No one wants to be so proud that he is scorned as a bragger, nor so greedy that he is labeled as a thief. No one wants to be angry enough to murder, lustful enough to rape, gluttonous enough to ruin his health. No one wants to be agonized by the chronic pain of envy or to be paralyzed by sloth. Of course, most human beings don't suffer these defects at these rock-bottom levels. We who've escaped these extremes are apt to congratulate ourselves. Yet can we? After all, hasn't it been self-interest, pure and simple, that has enabled most of us to escape? Not much spiritual effort is involved in avoiding excesses, which will bring us punishment anyway. But when we face up to the less violent aspects of these very same defects, then where do we stand? All right, so we will stop there today. What I gather from page 66 is I had a friend tell me one time that, if you're not willing to give that up just yet, and he would always say yet, he urged me to pray to the God of my understanding for the willingness to give it up. Sometimes that's the best we can do right now. So say if somebody hurt my feelings, or somebody really, really hurt me, or I have a really strong resentment, and I'm not ready to give that resentment up, at the very least, I should pray to God of my understanding to give me the willingness to forgive. And then eventually, and I've lived this, that resentment does go away. And then it's much, much easier to forgive. But sometimes it takes what we talked about yesterday, time. And going back to the big book real fast, on page 142, I really like this part here. It says, toward the top, next, he can be assured that you do not intend to lecture, moralize, or condemn. That if this was done formerly, it was because of misunderstanding. I don't know if anybody else is like me, but when somebody starts lecturing you, you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to do this, you. I don't know. There's something in my brain. Maybe it's another broken piece aside from the alcoholism that just immediately shuts down. I don't know if I'm the only one on that. So I love that they make a point to say, we shouldn't lecture anybody. And thankfully, in my recovery, I've surrounded myself with a lot of people that don't lecture necessarily, that just mainly talk about their experience and give any kind of advice that usually worked for them. And that seemed to be something that attracted me a lot more. It was attraction rather than promotion for me. And I'm so grateful for that. And I'm grateful that that's in this book. All right, guys, that's all we have for today. I hope you have a wonderful day. It is an honor, thrill, and joy to be here with you today. And again, as I try to say in every episode, I am not a speaker on behalf of AA. Nothing like that. I'm just a guy. Oh, and speaking of lecturing or moralizing or anything like that, I'll say this. The Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous and the 12 and 12, they are two books that mean a lot to me, that have helped in my recovery quite a bit. But, I understand and I recognize that some people might not agree with every single part of the Big Book or the 12 and 12. Some people might argue that some of the references are outdated, things like that. And I'm not here to dispute that or anything like that. I like that the Big Book says these are mere suggestions. I just happen to take these suggestions and they've really worked in my life. And I certainly hope that I've never lectured, moralized, or condemned anybody while doing this. I try to stick to just my experience or just some bits of wisdom that I've learned along the way from friends in recovery that I'd love to pass on to you. So I guess the moral of the story is here that I am just a dude trying to recover. And I sure hope that I've never come across like this is the only way. All right, my friends, enough of my rambling. I hope you have a great day, and I'm looking forward to seeing you back here tomorrow.